Now, class, it's time to discuss your hyponatremia, a very important, of course, no, a topic in your electrolyte imbalances. Okay, so we've known first hypokalemia and hypernatremia cases as one of the biggest no, sa mga malalaking concepts under your electrolyte imbalances. And of course, let's have for today the concept of your hyponatremia. Okay. So, kapatid, kapag sinabi nating hyponatremia, of course, we all know this one, that this is where your serum sodium, okay, is below the rate of 135 milliequivalent per liter. So, ibig sabihin, kapatid, okay, yung sodium na allowed sa ating bloodstream, which is 135 to 145, ay bumaba pa ng below 145. So, this is really a problem. And we need to remember, okay, another concept din na dapat ay alam natin, okay, and we should be remembering most of the time is that sodium imbalances are mostly, but not all of the time, associated with fluid volume imbalances. So, because we've known this thing na kung nasaan yung sodium, nandun yung water or yung fluid ng katawan natin. Well, it's most of the time true, but it's not absolute. But generally, kapatid, no, sasabihin ko sa inyo that sodium imbalances are mostly associated with your fluid volume imbalances. Okay, so let's now start to know what are the causes kung bakit bumababa yung ating sodium. Okay? Below 135 milliequivalent per liter. Okay, so now class, unang cause is of course the loss of sodium. So of course, nawala yung ating sodium or bumaba yung ating sodium, it's because of the actual total body loss of sodium. Okay? Napakasimple lang ng konseptong to. Pangalawa, because of lack of sodium intake. Okay, dahil hindi na tayo masyado nagtitake, no? There are some conditions and then mga nangyayari sa atin na kung saan bumababa ang ating sodium because of our certain behaviors and activities. Pangatlo, okay, yung tinatawag nating serum dilution or yung serum, kumbaga, intoxication. Okay? So, here, kapatid, we need to remember that it's just the same actually with your other imbalances. I mean, imbalances of electrolytes when it comes to this one. Simple lang, kapag masyado ring napapadami yung ating fluid or water in the body, it will lead, of course, no, to the imbalance now of the presence of your electrolytes or the solid content, no, of your body system. Okay? So, let's try to analyze again. There are some causes here of your hyponatremia or the loss of your sodium in the katawan, which is firstly, loss of sodium itself. Pangalawa, the lack of sodium intake, hindi masyadong nag-intake ng sodium. At pangatlo, of course, the serum dilution. Okay, so, ang memory trick po natin dito, just remember low salt, loss of sodium, lack of sodium intake, and of course, your serum dilution or dilution. Okay, so let's try to discuss the specificity of each causes. Okay, first, your loss of sodium. Kapatid, ano yung mga conditions or ano yung mga dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng loss of sodium? Okay, first is excessive diaphoresis, yung masyadong pagpapawis. Pangalawa, the use of diuretics, no, yung pampapaihi. Yan, it could also cause your sodium loss. Okay, which is an actual sodium loss sa katawan natin. Pangatlo, serum dilution, yung sinasabi na kanina, diarrhea, okay, kidney problems, and of course, no, hypoaldosteronism. Well, we've all known this thing na kapag mababa po ang ating aldosterone, ibig sabihin mababa ang ating salt. Okay? So, hypoaldosteronism, tandaan po natin, it can cause your low sodium level sa ating katawan. Tandaan po natin that in our hypokalemia, it's not hypoaldosteronism, but it is, upon the other hand, hyperaldosteronism. Why? Tandaan mo, kapatid, that your potassium and sodium, they are indirectly proportional with each other. So, ang pagtaas ng sodium ay siya namang pagbaba ng ating potassium. Upon the other hand, ang pagtaas ng ating potassium ay siya namang pagbaba ng ating sodium. Okay? Ganun lang ang kanilang relationship. Okay, so also the lack of sodium intake, when does this happens? Okay? It happens when a person is fasting. That's the first one. Pangalawa, when a patient is on MPO. Okay, yung mga pasyente na nasa NPO status, it can lead to their hyponatremia. It's because wala silang intake of sodium. Okay? And of course, the low sodium diet. Yan. So, may mga pasyente po, no, na halimbawa yung mga anti-hypertensive diet, or they are actually put into sometimes low sodium diet. So, kapag nasobrahan lang din doon, okay, it can lead to our hyponatremia. Okay? Now, another is your serum dilution. Alam natin to. Okay? Kapag sinabing serum dilution, kapatid, okay? When we say serum dilution, number one na cause is this condition. And I would like to take this one, okay, na very, very highlight. Class, we have this endocrine disorder na syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone. So, ibig sabihin, ang antidiuretic hormone dito, class, is napasobra lang. Okay? The antidiuretic hormone is the hormone class na hindi nagpapa-cause ng urination. Okay? It impedes urination. So ngayon, nasobrahan lang din. Okay? So ibig sabihin, wala ka na totally dito because there is an excessive class excretion of the antidiuretic hormone. So ibig sabihin, class, hindi na nalalabas ni patient yung kanyang fluid sa katawan. Okay? Including also, class. Okay? Your other, halimbawa yung fluid natin, yung water, or nagkakaroon dito ng more retention of your water, or water retention. Hence, ang nangyayari dito, kapatid, is that nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag nating hemodilution. Okay, which is a very, very favorite question, class, in your NCLEX and even in your PNLE. Okay, so nagkakaroon tayo dito, class, ng hemodilution. Okay, sometimes tinatawag din natin tong dilutional hyponatremia. Okay? So we call that sometimes as dilutional hyponatremia. Of course, overhydration as well, no? Halimbawa, hindi natin na-monitor masyado yung pasyente na nasa suero. And of course, no, nagkaroon tayo ng fluid volume excess, overhydration, or water intoxication, pare-pareho lamang po sila. Okay? So it can cause your serum dilution caused hyponatremia. Okay, another thing also is your hyperglycemia. Tandaan natin, class, na kapag nagkakaroon po tayo ng hyperglycemia sa ating pong blood, no, tumaas yung sugar levels natin sa ating blood, always remember, kapatid, na nagkakaroon tayo ng more fluid sa ating bloodstream. Okay? So dito, class, in your hyperglycemia, okay, it can cause, no, increase as well, no, of your increase levels of potassium also in your blood. So ang nangyayari dito, remember that they are indirectly proportional, kapatid, with your, of course, potassium. So hyperglycemia, nagkakaroon ng hyperkalemia din dito, hence nagkakaroon tayo ng hyponatremia. Okay? So remember that these things, dalawa, yung SIAD at yung hyperglycemia, they are NCLEX and PNLA favorite. So tandaan po natin yan. Okay? So also is your freshwater drowning. Yan, yung mga nalulunod, no, in freshwater, it may also cause your dilutional hyponatremia. Okay? Kidney disease din, kapatid, it's because nga you are retaining more and more water, so you are not excreting your water that you have in the body, hence nagkakaroon tayo na dilutional hyponatremia. The same rin with your heart failure. It's because you are retaining more water, nagkakaroon din ng dilutional hyponatremia. So again, kapatid, I would like to remind you that this is otherwise known as your dilutional hyponatremia. Okay? So what are your possible assessments na makikita natin, no, in your patient with hyponatremia? So isa-isahin natin. Okay, first, of course, let's have your increased heart rate. So kapatid, your body is now retaining more water. So just like your FVE, your fluid volume excess, isipin mo na lang, class, ang isang timba, class, na mas marami siyang water. So mas mabigat siya. Ibig sabihin, there's more pressure to it. So your heart, what would you do with your heart kapag may increased pressure sa katawan natin, class? Okay, it would lead to making the heart pump more and more and more. Okay? So, ganyan po ang nangyayari. When it comes to your respiration, kapatid, nagkakaroon tayo ng shallow breathing respiration because nagiging weaker po ang ating respiratory muscles. Okay? So, walang lakas masyado. Okay, number 3, generalized body weakness. Ayan, alam natin yan. Nagkakaroon ng weakness. Negative deep tendon reflex or deep tendon hyporeflexia. Okay, nagkakaroon din tayo ng headache. Okay, so remember this one. And of course, ito yung pinakamahalagang tatlong to. Confusion, seizures, coma, and even it can lead to death. Tandaan po natin to, ha. Okay, they can cause confusion, seizures, and also coma. Okay, so these are your NCLEX and PNLA favorite assessments. Okay, increased motility din for your digestive tract, diarrhea, polyuria, and of course, your dry mucous membrane. Okay, so tandaan po natin ang mga bagay na to. So, we need to remember this very important nursing consideration here. You need to remember that the decrease in plasma osmolality in hyponatremia causes water movement into the brain in response to the osmotic gradient. Okay? So, nagkokos po itong phenomenon na ito ng cerebral edema. Okay, so again, because of decrease in plasma osmolality in hyponatremia, so water moves into the brain in response to the osmotic gradient. Okay? So, anong nangyayari? Of course, nagkakaroon tayo dito ng tinatawag nating cerebral edema. So, the most dreadful complication, kapatid, of your hyponatremia is of course your cerebral edema. So, we need to remember that one. Okay? Very good. Okay, so what are your interventions? Bago pa mangyari ang coma, bago pa mangyari class ang yung cerebral edema, you need to do something. Of course, number 1 is monitor vital signs. Mahalaga, kapatid, na monitor natin si vital signs ng pasyente. It's because nga, it affects also a wide, variation of your system sa katawan. Okay, so firstly, if hyponatremia is accompanied by fluid volume deficit, kapag may doon daw fluid volume deficit sa hyponatremia natin, ibig sabihin, the hyponatremia here is caused by your deficient fluid volume. So, anong gagawin natin? You start your IV infusion ng inyong plain NSS. Okay? Sodium chloride, kapatid. Again, kapag meron tayong fluid volume deficit, you start infusion of your IV sodium. Okay? IV sodium chloride or your plain NSS. Now, upon the other hand, if hyponatremia is accompanied by fluid volume excess, okay? So, iba naman po dito, sa pangalawa nating situation. If hyponatremia naman, kapatid, is caused by your or accompanied by your fluid volume excess, anong gagawin na tanong ibibigay? Of course, you give your osmotic diuretics, such as, say, for example, your mannitol IV. Okay? So, remember that one. And if hyponatremia is accompanied by SIAD or your symptom of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone, of course, you need to treat the SIAD itself. So, you give EDH antagonizers, in the form of your tolvaptan and conivaptan. Okay, so we need to remember this one. So, they are your ADH antagonizer because napakarami po nila sa katawan natin. Okay, so your your pituitary gland is excreting more and more and more and more antidiuretic hormone. So, that's very, very abnormal. So, we need to respond to that by giving your patient your tolvaptan and also your conivaptan. So, we need to remember that, of course, our patient here is experiencing low sodium level. So, we give also your high sodium diet. Okay? So, these are very important things. So, now ang tanong, Sir, bakit at ano nga bang mga pagkain yung mga matataas sa sodium? Una mo nga hanapin, kapatid, is yung mga processed food. Okay, ano ba yung mga processed food? Anything that may processed na word on it. Even your bacon, class, it's a processed food, no? Milk, snacks, and also cheese. At marami pang iba. Of course, your table salt. Okay? So, we need to remember this thing here. So, what are your special nursing considerations, kapatid? If the client is taking lithium, you need to monitor the lithium level. Ang tanong, bakit? Okay, napakadali lang po ng sagot. We need to remember that your hyponatremia can cause your diminished lithium excretion. So, ibig sabihin, class, your hyponatremia causes your lithium toxicity. Okay? So, pwede po tayong magkaroon ng lithium toxicity. It's because of too low level or amount of of sodium in our body. So, we need to remember this one. Okay, so let's have a practice question here. A patient is experiencing hyponatremia caused by excessive secretion of your antidiuretic hormone. Which of the following should be prepared to be administered for the patient? Letter A, calcium gluconate. Letter B, tolvaptan tab. Letter C, venlafaxine tab. Letter D, atenolol IV. So, of course, we need to eliminate here letter A because we've known that this is given in your hyperkalemia. Of course, to address the hyperexcitability of your cardiac muscle. So, the best answer for this one is, of course, letter B. You know what? Tolvaptan is used to treat your hyponatremia or low sodium in the blood in patients with heart failure or syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone or SIAD. Tolvaptan is also used to slow kidney function decline in adults who are at risk for rapidly progressing autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease or your ADPKD. Okay, yung letter A, calcium gluconate, it's not needed in hyponatremia. Among fluids and electrolyte imbalances, it is more needed in your hyperkalemia to avert your myocardial excitability. Yung venlafaxine, kapatid, panggulo lang yan. That's an SSRI. Okay, it works by increasing the levels of mood-enhancing chemicals called serotonin and noradrenaline, okay, in the brain. Okay, so this is used for your depression and anxiety and even your panic attacks. Okay, letter D, atenolol naman, alam natin yan. That's your beta A selective blocker used in the management of hypertension and your chronic angina. Yeah, so you need to write this down. Okay, very good points. So at this point, let's talk about your hypernatremia. That's very, very quick, no? Okay, so let's know first what's your hypernatremia. Of course, kapag sinabi natin hypernatremia, kapatid, this is a serum sodium level higher than 145 milliequivalent per liter. So yung kanina, yung allowed na sodium level sa ating pong bloodstream na 135 to 145 milliequivalent per liter, kung kanina sa hyponatremia, bumaba siya. Ngayon dito, kapatid, tumaas naman siya ng lalo. So that's what we call as your hypernatremia, and that's also bad, and that's something dangerous. So what are the causes kung bakit tumataas po ang ating hypernatremia? Number 1 is decreased sodium excretion. So ibig sabihin, hindi masyado siyang nailalabas yung sodium, hence dumadami. Okay? Number 2, increased sodium intake. Masyado lang din mataas ang ating intake ng ating sodium. Okay, so that would also lead to the increased levels of sodium in the body. And number 3, decreased water intake. So we need to remember this one, kapatid, that well, we've all know this thing that generally, kapatid, kung nasaan yung sodium, nandun yung water. Okay, hence dito, mababa yung ating water intake, hence mababa rin po ang ating sodium levels in the body. Okay? So remember, water-sodium relationship is not absolute. So we need to remember this one. Okay? Because most of the time, yes, it's true that decreased water intake may cause your hyponatremia, but it's not absolute that water-sodium relationship is perfectly, no, occurring in all cases. So, hindi po yan nangyayari all of the time. Most of the time, but not all of the time. Okay, so, another thing also is your increased water loss. So, kapag nagkaroon tayo ng water loss din dito, kapatid, magkakaroon din tayo ng hyponatremia. Okay, it's because, okay, again, generally, your water follows, okay, to where, your sodium follows to where your fluid or water goes. Okay, so remember this thing here. Okay, so let's first analyze what are the specific causes or what are the specific conditions that causes the decreased sodium excretion. Number 1, yung corticosteroids natin, kapatid. Okay? So, number 2, Cushing syndrome. Okay? So, you need to remember this one. Kidney diseases and also your hyperaldosteronism. Okay. So, in the cases also of your increased sodium intake, kapatid, nagkakaroon tayo. Number 1 na cause dito is your excessive sodium excretion. Excessive oral sodium intake rather. Okay, number 2, excessive administration of sodium-containing IV fluids. Yan. So, una, yung oral sodium intake or yung masyado lang tayong mahilig, no, sa mga maaalat. Yung pangalawa naman, excessive administration of sodium-containing IV fluids. So, mga nakaswero naman to. Okay? So, it can cause your hypernatremia. Another is decreased water intake. So, yung mga nagfa-fasting, yung mga naka-NPO, sila yung very at risk, kapatid, sa ating pong hypernatremia that's caused by your decreased water intake. So now, let's try to analyze what are those possible assessments, class, na makikita natin sa pasyente na mayroong hypernatremia. Number 1, of course, kapatid, it's because marami na tayong fluid probably in the body. So, too much pressure din ang meron sa katawan. So, increased ang BP ng pasyente mo. Nagkakaroon din ng tachycardia. Why? We need to remember that your sodium is actually the queen of your BP regulation. So, ibig sabihin, kapatid, or regulation of your cardiovascular system, which includes, kapatid, no, your heart rate. So, kapag may mataas tayong sodium, it means your body is also trying to compensate everything. So, nagkakaroon tayo dito ng tachycardia. Okay, pulmonary edema. If the case is hypovolemic, okay, kung may hypervolemia po tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng pulmonary edema. So, we need to remember this one because there's already too much, okay, fluid in the body. Pang-apat, nagkakaroon din tayo ng twitches in early stages and the weakness on later stages. So, at first, kapatid, meron ka pang masyadong increased activity in your neuromuscular system. However, kapag tumagal na class, nagkakaroon ng weakness, which is a late sign. We need to remember that one. Okay. Next is your altered cerebral function, which is the most common and the most commonly asked, okay, topic in your hypernatremia, in your PNLE, and even in your NCLEX. So, we need to remember this one, that it causes alteration of your cerebral function. Okay, which is a common manifestation, kapatid, in your hypernatremia. Number 7, pwede rin tayo magkaroon ng extreme thirst and dry skin, kapatid. It's because nga, again and again, too much na ang sodium sa katawan natin. Mucous membranes are also dry, sticky tongue. Yan. So, basically, nagiging dry ang ating skin, mucous membrane, and ang ating rin pong dila or ang ating tongue. Okay. So, now, what are we going to do? Ano bang gagawin natin, kapatid? Okay, so ito yung mga interventions na gagawin natin for this one. Number 1, monitor vital signs, of course. It's very important. And of course, dito tayo nagkakaiba-iba. Okay? If the cause, kapatid, or if it has fluid loss, of course, you need to prepare your IV infusions. Okay? You need to prepare your IVF or your IV fluid infusions. Okay? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na fluid loss or the low sodium levels is accompanied with a fluid loss. Okay? So, prepare your IV infusions. Okay, if caused by inadequate renal excretion, of course, you need to administer diuretics. Kasi, ang cause naman dito, hindi masyado na ilalabas no, yung ating fluid. Okay? Hindi masyado nakakaihi. So, you administer diuretics. Or yung diuretics, kapatid, that excretes your sodium. Remember that your potassium wasting are actually also your sodium wasting. Okay? Diuretics. Okay, number 4, restrict sodium and fluid intake. It's because we have here too much na. Mas marami na po ang ating sodium dito. So, limitahan na po natin. Okay? So, that's it for this topic. I hope and I pray class na may natutunan tayo for this session. And of course, let's have the next F&E, particularly electrolyte imbalance, and we will be discussing the concept of your hypo and hypercalcemia. Have a good day, everyone.